I read this question from Sixto Lagare in our chat box, and it goes like this. May I ask Justice Antonio Carpio to expound on the possibility of bring up the matter of enforcement of the Hague Award to the UN Security Council, and if need be, to the General Assembly with the prayer that members shall impose sanctions should China continue to ignore the rule of international law. And then he goes on to cite a particular provision of the UN Charter which suddenly disappeared from the chat box. But anybody who would, if Justice Carpio is no longer with us, nandito po
Yes.
Ayun. Yes, sir. Justice Carpio, please.
Yeah, well, China is a permanent member of the UN Security Council. It has a veto power, so any action that we want the Security Council to take, of course, China will just veto it. Now, we can go to the UN General Assembly, but the UN General Assembly will be recommendatory to the UN Security Council. So, but getting the UN General Assembly to vote in our favor is good enough because that is an expression of the will of the international community. It's the locus of world opinion, the General Assembly, and that has a great persuasive effect. That's where you fight other countries with ideas. And it will take time, but that's where we should start because we cannot go direct to the Security Council because China has a veto power there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justice Carpio.
Good evening, and thank you for staying here this evening. I will now read a joint statement on behalf of approximately 43 on behalf of dozens of allies and partners gathered here with me today. This afternoon, the Security Council voted on a resolution to hold Russia accountable for its aggression against Ukraine, to protect civilians, including children, and call for the facilitation of rapid, safe, and unhindered humanitarian assistance to those in need. The resolution was vital and it was straightforward. Fundamentally, it was about whether the countries on the Security Council charged with maintaining international peace and security believe in upholding the UN Charter. The UN Charter was written with the express purpose of preventing a war like the one President Putin just started. The war has brought in just its first days, devastating losses of life, and Russia alone is accountable. President Putin chose to violate Ukraine's sovereignty. President Putin chose to violate international law, and President Putin chose to violate the UN Charter. President Putin chose to drop bombs on Kyiv, to force families to stuff their lives into backpacks and shelter in subway stations. President Putin is the aggressor here. There is no middle ground. We believe we have a particular responsibility to stand up to the violations of the UN Charter because Russia is a permanent member of the Security Council who is culpable. Those of us standing here today continue to believe in the Security Council's solemn duty and highest purpose to prevent conflict and avert the scourge of war. Russia has abused its power today to veto our strong resolution, but Russia cannot veto our words. And as I said in the Council, Russia cannot veto the Ukrainian people. Russia cannot veto their own people protesting this war in the streets, and Russia cannot veto the UN Charter. Russia cannot and will not veto accountability. We thank the member states who signed as co-sponsors of this resolution for standing with Ukraine and for the UN Charter today. We will be taking this matter to the General Assembly, where the Russian veto does not apply, and the nations of the world will continue to hold Russia accountable. Thank you very much, and thank you to all of our colleagues. Good morning. Today, the world has spoken with a clear, united voice. Together, the vast majority of the world has condemned Russia's unprovoked, unjustified, unconscionable war. We have deplored Belarus for allowing its territory to be used to facilitate this aggression. We have affirmed Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We have demonstrated that Russia is isolated and alone. And that's the cost, that the costs will keep rising until Russia relents. We have affirmed the UN Charter, pledged to address the horrific human rights and humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, and stood together in the battle for the soul of the world. Last night, at his State of the Union address, President Biden commended the courage of the Ukrainian people. He declared that the United States of America stands with Ukraine, and quoted President Zelensky when he said, "Light will win over darkness." Today at the United Nations, light has won over darkness. 141 states voted to support this amendment. The world, as President Biden said, is choosing the side of peace and security. Now, as the situation grows graver, every day in Ukraine, we must keep the momentum going. We must do everything we can to help the Ukrainian people, to hold Russia accountable, to match our strong words with strong actions. Let us continue to come together to support the Ukrainian people, and let us demonstrate the true power and true purpose of the United Nations for all. Thank you very much.